Hello, everyone, and welcome to a podcast. A podcast of one. Me. Zachary is off doing other things tonight, so it's just me. What will I talk about? Probably Nintendo stuff, as I'm wont to do. We still don't have a name for the show. Don't know what we're going to call it, if it's going to go with the simple and obvious Random Tower podcast, or if we get all fancy and call it like the Eisen Night Chronicles or something a bit. That's I don't know. That sounds like the Eisen Night Chronicles. It sounds cool, but it sounds kind of conceited too. Or maybe free opinions. I have no idea what we're going to call this show. We did have some interesting suggestions, though. Let me see if I can find where they were. Sora had a few suggestions. The Modcast, the Tower Whispers, or Whisperers, the Random Access Committee, the Eisen Nights. Oh, that's actually close. Or Eisen at Night Show, the Feminist Joysticks, Up, Up, Down, Down, D-padding discussion, as in like D-pad on the controller. The Why Are We Here podcast, Random Tower Speaks podcast. We are the kids of Game America, which Sora notes sounds a little close to Gay America, so maybe not, but hey, maybe no. We could play to. I'd hate to do that and then have absolutely no theming on that, or no subject-wise, because that would be, I mean, it'd be like calling it the Auto Enthusiasts podcast and not ever talk about cars or any interests of people who are interested in cars. Another suggestion was Retro Neo. Then the podcast named Sue, and the Title Pending podcast, and the CRT Monitors podcast, or LCD. So, thank you, those who've given us suggestions. Always the Leaning Tower of Politics, the gaming Leaning Tower of Politics at just 13U Cube. Okay. All right, well, let's get down to brass tacks. There was some Nintendo news this week, as I predicted there would be. We did at least, I think I predicted at the very least we'd have a release date for the NX, and yes, we do. The NX will come out March 2017. A little later than most have been thinking recently. Most, I think, were looking at a fall 2016, because you always want to hit the Christmas period, and let's face it, there's almost nothing left for the Wii U. Let's see, we've got in major retail releases. We have Mario and Sonic in later June. Yay! I'm sure someone likes those games. There's Tokyo Mirage Sessions in late June, which is already out in Japan, but I'm actually really interested in that game. There's another Paper Mario at some point, summer, fall, who knows. And then Legend of Zelda. And that's it. I think there's also Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens at some point. Probably June, somewhere around there. I believe that may be completely it. Now, there are a bunch of download games, eShop games. Let's see. There's a Terraria, which has been out for years on pretty much almost literally every other system. As far as games on the For Everything But Wii U list goes, I think Terraria was second only to Minecraft as far as game on the most other systems other than the Wii U. both Minecraft and Terraria are Minecraft's on Wii U, Terraria is coming. Lost Reavers, that free-to-play game, which had a beta not so long ago. Super Meat Boy, which is several years old and has been on a bunch of other systems. Mighty Number 9, yeah, maybe that'll come out someday. SteamWorld Heist, sure, looks cool. Let's see, bunch of other stuff I've really never heard of. Axum Verge, it's cool. It's been out for a while on other systems. So yeah, there's a couple things. Maybe the biggest one that hasn't already been out for years would be I guess SteamWorld Heist and Mighty Number 9. So yay. All that to say really is the Wii U's kind of dead. 13U Cube asks, what was that booby shaking something unpronounceable? I have no earthly clue what you're referring to. So try to be a bit more specific. Being that we have almost no Wii U games left, get off of my water, you nasty flying gnat thing. People are thinking, well, they stopped producing Wii U games because there's the consoles coming. It's going to hit for the Christmas holiday, and nope. March 2017. 13U Cube. It was like a cross something. Still no earthly clue. Not even remotely sure what you're talking about. A booby shaking something unpronounceable like a cross something. You're gonna have to be more specific. The anime trailer apparently had nothing to do with the game. Still no idea what you're talking about. Are you referring to a Wii U game? Does anybody know what he's talking about? Anybody in the chat at all? Because that's not doing anything for me. Not even like, oh yeah, no, not even. So March 2017. Okay. I mean, it was in the Nintendo Direct. A booby shaking something unpronounceable like a Are you talking about Tokyo Mirage Sessions? I mean, that's even I forget the first word, but even Roku Sharp FE. I forget what the first word was. Which used to be known as Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. We said the Treehouse played it, and it looked nothing like the trailer. Okay, so you are referring to Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Yeah, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, one of the games I already mentioned. Actually, it looks exactly like its trailer. I'm sure what we said was the anime trailer that they showed no gameplay, but it does. All the characters do look the same, and that's okay. I mean, so all right. Second piece of news. Also something I predicted. Legend of Zelda Wii U is also Legend of Zelda NX, which I think everyone was counting on. So now that the NX is 2017, well, so is Zelda Wii U. So Nintendo announced that Zelda would launch for the Wii U and the NX simultaneously in 2017. And then its sales page specifically said March 2017. And then they took away the March, and it now says 2017, at least last time I looked. So I think everyone assumes it's going to be a launch title for the NX and also come out in the Wii U at the same time. But Who knows? Maybe they still need major time on that game, and it's not going to come out until fall of 2017. Um, again, it's a shame, but I guess Nintendo's given us plenty of time to seriously booby shaking. I guess Nintendo's given us plenty of time to go through our backlogs. Probably not our Wii U backlogs. I doubt many of us actually have a Wii U backlog because it wasn't the most bountiful selection of games to begin with. Really, the only game. Let me see. What do I have to play? I haven't picked up Yoshi's Woolly World yet, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. So those two I still need to pick up. Other than that, I'm all caught up on Wii U. Plenty of other stuff to play though. So, but those were not the only newses. Nintendo also announced that the Legend of Zelda, Wii U and NX, will be the focus, or at least the Wii U version will be the focus of its E3 presentation. Considering it has almost nothing left for the Wii U, that's not too surprising. But it also said, in addition to there being no NX talk at E3, it will do NX stuff later in the year, so maybe in the fall. Maybe Space World is coming back. But it announced, and let me actually read the quote, because this, I think, is where everyone, and I lost it. There it is. Nintendo says the Wii U version of Legend of Zelda will be playable for the first time on the E3 show floor, and it will be the only playable game Nintendo presents at the show in order to provide attendees a complete immersion. Now, that complete immersion stuff is horse poop. I don't believe that for a minute. But that is really, really weird. Maybe that's a translation thing, but that says the Zelda game is going to be the only playable game on the show floor. Not only playable Wii U game, only playable game. What about Paper Mario? What about Mario and Sonic and Tokyo Mirage Sessions? Those come out about 2 weeks after E3. What about Pokemon Sun and Moon on the 3DS? Don't know why I accented it like that. 3DS. That's an odd choice. Now, that's not to say Nintendo, in whatever its presentation ends up being, won't show other games. I'm sure it says Zelda will be the highlight, but I'm sure it will mention the new Pokemon games, Paper Mario, and maybe Mario Sonic, and some of the maybe a sizzle reel of some of the download titles like Shantae Half Genie Hero, I think it's called. That's another one that's still coming out. But I think so. A lot of people are really down on Nintendo right now. It's disappointing, I suppose. I think most gamers would have been NX 2017. Huh. Well, okay. Zelda's coming out on the NX too. Yeah, figured that. Oh, that means the whole shebang is delayed until March 2017. All right. Zelda's going to be the highlight of your E3 presser. Yeah, oh, okay, that's not surprising. It's about the only game you have left. It's going to be the only game on the show floor, only game playable on the show floor. So, what exactly are you going to do at this? Is it just going to be a really, really boring Nintendo booth with nothing to do except play Zelda, which is no small thing, but really? That's kind of hard to imagine. Let's see. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, head over to randomtower.com and join in the chat. Because There's a few of you watching, I can see. If you have any questions or opinions, feel free to make them known in the little chat widget. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what Nintendo actually does at E3, and that whole thing. And to better, how did it phrase it? In order to provide attendees a complete immersion. Unless they're going to have private booths for each display, there's look, it's no more immersive playing a video game at E3, being surrounded by the same game than being surrounded by different games. So, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Um, so, yeah, that's one of those. Oh, come on, who are you kidding? It reminds me of who's the director of Suicide Squad. There have been some commentary on Harley Quinn's hot pants outfit in the film. And the director said something like, well, we don't want to put her in denim overalls. Dude, that's not what anyone is saying. Don't make me e-slap you. Hello, Lyrical. Straw man. Anyway, so E3 may not be, from a Nintendo perspective, it may not be fun, but it's going to be interesting to see exactly what it is Nintendo does. I mean, the last 2 years, it's had these really cool. The first 2 years ago, it did the Robot Chicken thing, which was amazing, and then it did the Muppets thing last year, which was amazing. Is it going to bother doing anything? I mean, would there really even be a point to it if there's almost nothing to show? The Treehouse live events were awesome. Literally, to me, the best damned thing at E3. Are they going to even bother doing that this year? Maybe they're just going to live stream Legend of Zelda all 3 days, all day. I mean, they could do other games. I guess that wouldn't totally count as playable on the show floor, even though they're on the show floor being played. You can't play them. So maybe you'll see Paper Mario and maybe a surprise Wii U game. So Delirical says it'll be better than Sony's trailers and beyond. Yeah, we'll see. So kind of a disappointing few announcements. Mainly disappointing because we have to wait longer for news. We all want to know, what is the NX? Just tell us what it is. Just what is it? We want to know. But we're not going to hear about what the NX is until after E3, unless Nintendo changes its mind. And I think most gamers would be like, okay, well, we can wait for NX. Let's just enjoy. At least we have E3 in June. We'll enjoy E3. Oh, what? There's going to be no games playable save for one? Oh, so I mean, it makes it. I mean, there wasn't even a conciliatory. We're going to have plenty of stuff to show you and talk about, but there's only going to be one game playable. No, it really sounds like they've just got nothing. So we'll see. Laxter says, I think they'll have an E3 digital event with other news and stuff. Just no other playable demos at the show. Well, yeah, that's exactly what Nintendo said. Well, it didn't say anything about a digital event, but we would assume that it will have a presentation of some sort. Probably not a full live press conference, as they haven't done in years. Probably some type of digital event that, like Nintendo said, Zelda will be a focus of, and Zelda will be the only playable game on the show floor. There may be some other games there being demoed. Someone else plays them for you, or on some type of trailer preview loop. Delirical says Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE may get some light shined upon it. It's not going to be playable, but yeah, it may. Being one of, what is it, 4 games left in the Wii U. I mean, we've got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is already out in Japan, Mario and Sonic, Paper Mario, and Zelda Wii U. I think that's it from Nintendo. We've also got Lego Star Wars. That's Lego Star Wars Force Awakens. That's Warner Brothers. That may be completely it for as far as retail releases. I'm struggling to think of another that's actually hitting boxed copy. Is Shantae Half Genie Hero actually going to have a physical release? I don't think so. Yes, both Tokyo and Mirage Sessions and Sonic and Mario and Sonic Olympic Games comes out about 2 weeks after E3. Axum Verge comes out for the Wii U, but I'm pretty sure that's download only. It's also a game that's been available on other systems for quite some time now. Cool game though. I mean, nice to have it. There's about a dozen and a half more higher profile downloadable titles coming to the Wii U eShop over the next several months, but yeah. Nintendo certainly does make a good case for you don't want to own just a Nintendo, and that works, a Nintendo console, and that works both ways. You don't want to own just the Nintendo console because you're going to be missing out on a ton of other awesome games, and you don't want to own just one of the other consoles. You want to own one of Nintendo's console because otherwise you're missing out on several really awesome games. Delirical, did you just get in here? Because you're repeating everything I have already said. Yes, Paper Mario Color Splash. Laxter says, I'd imagine if they do a Treehouse event again, they'll play demos of other games that actually aren't on the show floor. They've had Treehouse exclusive demos previously, haven't they? Yes, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, for example, I'm pretty sure was not on the show floor, and that was demoed. I think Xenoblade Chronicles X was also not on the show floor and was demoed, but again, yeah. So we're just repeating ourselves here. So let us move on to a new topic. Probably the quickest Nintendo discussion you've ever got out of me, but hey. What else are you going to talk about? That's the discussion. There's nothing to talk about as far as Wii U goes. So something I wanted to talk about is removing content from Western localizations of video games and how it affects games with a particular example. So let's call this a case study. I am playing Yakuza 3 on the PlayStation 3 right now. Yakuza 3 is missing a significant amount of content from the Japanese version. It is missing hostess clubs, although the hostesses are still there, and this is really weird, and I'll get into that in a minute. It's missing the shogi minigame. The shogi parlor is still there. It's still on the map. You can go into it. You just can't do anything there. There's actually a story event that takes place in the shogi parlor, but you can't, which is probably the only reason why you can still get in there. From what I understand, Mahjong was taken out. I don't know if the parlor is, if you can go in or not. I haven't run across it yet. There was, in the arcade, the Club Sega arcade, there's one of the Dreamcatcher things, the claw machine, that's there. There's a couple little arcade games you can play. There was also a Japanese history trivia quiz game there. That's gone now. The arcade cabinet thing may still be there, but you can't play it. Seems to me there's one more thing. Mahjong, shogi, hostess clubs. Well, the hostess clubs are still referred to. They're still on the map, and people will give you directions. Oh, yeah, it's north of the Flawless Hostess Club. It's like, great, I don't know where that is because I can't actually visit it. It seems to me there's one more thing that's missing. I don't remember what it is. But so let's talk about this. So hostess clubs. I've played Yakuza 4, and here's typically how hostess clubs work. A hostess club is like a bar slash restaurant that you go into and you sit down, and they will assign you, if you don't request someone specifically, a hostess, a attractive woman in an evening gown to come sit with you and talk to you and make you feel like a really awesome person that women love. And you can order alcohol, and you can order some food, and you basically just go to talk with pretty women and have a really nice time, by yourself or with buddies. That's what a hostess club is, at least my understanding of it from playing Yakuza video games. I've never been to Japan, so I have no idea how this stuff actually works in real life. So in the game, you go to the hostess club, and they say, okay, this is your first time here, so have a seat. And they send someone over, and she goes, hello, my name is Rena, and I'm your hostess for this evening. And she sits down, and she lights your cigarette, and she talks to you, and you talk to her. And depending on how you talk to her and what kind of food and drink you order depends on what she thinks of you as a person. So you get into a kind of a dating sim element here. So if you're an interesting, polite person, she will like you more. And if she likes you enough, she'll give you her business card so that you can specifically request her the next time you go into the hostess club. So you go into the hostess club and you say, hey, I'd like to chat with Rena again. So you sit down, and Rena says, hey, glad you're here. And you sit down and you have a chat. And if you were paying attention to what she was saying and you remember it, and there's also other things, because the hostesses are popular, so you'll hear rumors about them. I hear Rena really likes fishing, and so you can talk to her about fishing or whatever her interests are. And as the hostess, whoever you're talking to like you more, they may actually give you their phone number so you can go on a date outside of work. And you'll meet them, either call them or email them or something. And you go on dates with them, and you can do all kinds of different things depending on the game. You can go to karaoke, which I absolutely recommend because it's hilarious. Play pool, throw darts, go out for food. It depends on the game. You can do a ton of different things. It's actually really fun. After a couple of dates, when their like meter is high enough, it usually goes into some type of story mission. Like, oh, my brother has fallen in with the wrong crowd and I don't know what to do about it. Help me, Kazuma Kiryu, the protagonist's name. And so you go up and you beat the bad guys who kidnapped her brother, and she's like, yay, we're bestest friends now. And you get experience points, and that ends that sequence. So that's a long-winded way of describing how that whole thing works. So in the localized version of Yakuza 3, the hostess club, you can't go inside. So the whole hostess club element is gone. The hostesses are not. You can still go on dates with them, and after 2 dates, it starts whatever their story mission is. My mom is in debt to a loan shark. My brother has gone missing. Please pose as my boyfriend so my dad will get off my back about getting married and go back to Tokyo and leave me alone. Delirical asks, can you buy them gifts? Not in Yakuza 3. Not in Yakuza 4 either, technically. At least I don't think. I haven't played very far through that one. When you're with them in the hostess clubs, you do order drinks and food for both of you, so it behooves you to order something that she'd actually like. But that's the point, is getting to know these people better. We've talked about this in past podcasts and how relationships in video games kind of suck because they're always buy your way into their heart. Just keep buying the woman flowers until her heart meter goes up, right? Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. You do end up spending money on her, but it's also about how you talk to her, and if you're a polite and interesting person, and if you have things in common. So how you talk to her is just as important as buying her the right stuff. So it's a step in the right direction as far as relationship systems in video games go. Um, so in Yakuza 3, no hostess club. You just go out on dates, and then you go out on 2 dates, and you'll hit the side story mission, and that's that. Right. Here's the weird thing: the hostesses because they're in the hostess club, they're always wearing these really sparkly evening gown things. So when they go outside, they're wearing heavy overcoats so they're not standing out like a sore thumb. They put on large coats to cover up their evening gowns. In Yakuza 3, if you go into the burger joint, the fast food burger joint, at least in the Okinawa section, you will find one of the hostesses standing there in her evening gown covered by the coat, and you talk to her and she says, "Hey, are you busy? Want to take me on a date?" Kind of changes the context there a little bit, doesn't it? Not in a bad way, just changes the context. It casts these characters in a light they were never intended to be cast in. I'm not making any judgments on sex work. I don't have a problem with it at all. But it's really, really weird to find these women in their sparkly, incredibly expensive evening gowns in a burger joint, picking up, just approaching random guy. Hey, take me out on a date. It's really weird. I mean, it kind of fits because the Yakuza games are really weird anyway. But that is the consequence, a possible consequence of yanking features out of a game. You end up. Now, I really appreciate that they actually left the hostesses in, because dating in these games are fun because they give you an excuse to try out a lot of the bowling and darts and pool and some other events that you might not, or the batting cages, things that you might not find otherwise. So I'm glad they left that part in, but it does make it just a little weird. um Also, they took out shogi and mahjong. There's still plenty of games left in there, and plenty of very specifically Japanese game. Like there's a gambling parlor in Yakuza 3 that has a bunch of 3 different gambling games that I've never even seen before. One of them is called CeeLo, which I'm probably pronouncing that incredibly wrong. Which you take turns throwing dice into a bowl, and you make bets, you throw your dice, and whoever has the winning combination wins. It's kind of like Yahtzee. And I suck at it. Seriously. I was taking my little charge, Haruka, or whatever her name is, around Okinawa. And of course, I took her to the gambling den just because I thought it was funny. But she's like, "Ooh, get 1,000 points in CeeLo." I'm like, damn straight. So I bought 100,000 yen worth of chips, and I lost it all in 2 rounds because the son of a bitch next to me throwed triple ones, which is the best thing you can throw, and he threw them twice in a row, and I lost all my money. And little Haruka says, "Well, that's okay, Uncle Kiryu. You were really close." "No, I wasn't. Don't patronize me, you little shit." I love that game. But so it's interesting that they left these incredibly specifically Japanese gambling games in, like CeeLo and whatever the other 2 are called, which I actually haven't tried yet because I'm afraid. I suck at gambling. But I have like over 800,000 yen now, so I'll probably try it again. Um, Yet they took out Mahjong and Shogi. All of the games have tutorials that teach you how to play them, and that's the sad thing, because some gamers would really like to have no idea what shogi is, have no idea what mahjong is, but they'd be interested in trying it out. They'd definitely give it a go, and maybe they'd find a new love for the game. Maybe they'd find it wouldn't be for them. Other gamers would not care in the first place and wouldn't even bother going in, and that's okay too. It's just a damn shame that the localized version doesn't give us the option to try it out. And the same thing with the Japanese history trivia game. Now, almost no one in America is going to be able to play it without opening up Google while they're playing the game, because unless you study Japanese history, you're probably not going to know the answer to any of it. But again, you don't have to play it. You don't even have to go into the Club Sega arcade. It's just there for fun. I mean, if you want to play the Japanese history game, you absolutely should be able to. Oh, I remember one other thing they took out of the game was just an item, someone's bell, which is an item you get. I don't know what it does, but it's a little item that you get if you have a save from another Yakuza video game that was never localized in the West. Which is why they took that out, because there's no way for you to actually unlock it because the game was never released. Ideally, they'd leave it in the game and just just stuff it in your inventory or give some alternate way to pick it up. But now, to be completely fair, I have read that what was removed from Yakuza 3 was removed not because they were like, no one wants to play shogi, no one wants to play mahjong, and hostess clubs are that's a little morally makes us nervous. Making the hostesses appear to be prostitutes, we're totally fine with that. But let's get the hostess club out of there, because people may take that the wrong way. That apparently was not the reason. The reason this stuff was taken out was time. Apparently, whoever was localizing it, I don't know who called the shots, probably Sega, said you have X amount of time to localize this game. And they realized there is no way in heck we're going to be able to get the entire game localized in time. So we're going to have to cut some stuff. So they decided, okay, well, let's get rid of the Japanese history quiz, because that's a ton of text that we don't have to translate, that probably no one's going to be able to get any enjoyment out of. Very few people would get enjoyment out of anyway. Let's get rid of Mahjong and Shogi, because they're really complicated games that are really hard to explain. So hard to be mad about that. I mean, whoever was calling the shots, you say give them enough time to localize the entire game. But you can't really be mad at the localization house if they had to make some cuts due to time constraints and just had to pick some stuff. I sympathize. Damn shame. Luckily, Yakuza 4, I don't think anything major is cut. Hostess clubs are back in, all the games are in, and as far as I know, nothing was removed from Yakuza 5, and hopefully that continues, because Yakuza 0 was announced for 2017. And Yakuza 5 is actually digital download only, but I think it's on sale this weekend. I think it's on sale right now, so I'm probably gonna have to pick it up because I love the Yakuza. The games, the real life Yakuza, well, they haven't really bothered me. But so that's just something I wanted to talk about in how games can change, and not for the better, when you remove stuff in the localization. A lot of times it feels wrong. For example, the hostess is just standing in a fast food burger joint propositioning you feels wrong, even if you don't know the context. I went into the game kind of knowing the context. I actually did not know that the hostesses were in there. It took me. I didn't know that was a hostess. I figured it out pretty quickly once we were on it. So I'm like, oh, this is the hostess. Oh, they left the hostesses in the game. Well, that's cool. I appreciate that. But and it's also just weird because you have these places marked on the map. You have the hostess clubs marked on the map. People refer to them. People give you directions based on the locations of areas that you can't visit or interact with. Except one, the Stardust Hostess Club, you can go inside because there are cutscenes and stuff that take place in there, but you can't actually do anything in there. The Shogi Club, you can go, it's there, it's on your map, people refer to it, an event happens there, you can go in, you just can't do anything there. So even if you didn't know about the localizational changes, you'd feel it. It feels wrong. So there is my 187 cents on localization changes. And yes, I am familiar with a lot of the apparent changes in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and they all strike me as completely unnecessary and even nonsensical. But maybe a discussion for another week. Let us move on to something that I saw on Facebook. And if Cecil's in the chat, that was one of his posts. And he posted in an old article from Polygon. Let me see, what is it called? It's called Grand Theft Auto 5's misogyny is a problem its creators must finally address. And it talks about the whole petition in Australia to have Target remove the game from sale because of the way it depicts violence against sex workers, and Target Australia's decision to remove it from, and Kmart, same company actually, remove it from store shelves. Hi, Cecil. And Take-Two's subsequent statement saying something along the lines of free speech, if you don't like it, don't play it, that kind of thing. This article talks about the if you don't like it, don't play it argument. And when I saw it linked on Facebook, I was like, are we still talking about this? What brought this up? And the writer's Colin Campbell, who, full disclosure, he's been my editor before. I've written for him. If you care, I don't know. I'm like, what inspired you to write that now? Why? And the article's from December 2014, so it's an older article, so that's why. But Cartoon Conspirator, whose name, unfortunately, is the worst shade of green on my display, so it's really hard to read, says I sound like SCYKOH. Psycho? I don't know who that is. Anyway, so let me read an excerpt from this article. Colin says, look, let's get one thing straight. We live in a free society. GTA 5 should be available for any adult who wants to buy it through any retailer who wants to sell it. But that doesn't mean its makers ought to be allowed to feel comfortable dismissing its critics in the most derisory fashion imaginable. What I personally find repulsive about this game is the pleasure it offers in portraying the savaging of a class of people who are already victims in real life. This is where GTA 5 shows a lack of judgment. I take issue with the portrayal of sex workers being abused and murdered because sex workers are already victims, and it's just not right to take your fun in abusing victims. I know a lot of people desperately want to believe that killing a prostitute in GTA 5 is the same as killing any other character, but it's really not. Unlike gangsters or cops or business dudes or hot dog vendors, prostitutes as a class are despised, marginalized, and abused in real life all the time. This means that GTA 5 takes its pleasure in humiliating and abusing victims of humiliation and abuse. In what kind of world is that not worthy of debate, above and beyond the ignorant cry of, if you don't like it, don't buy it? And that's the crux of Colin's argument is there's a discussion to be had here, but too many people just dismiss it outright. If you don't like it, don't buy it, which is just sad because there's really something interesting to discuss here. So let's discuss that. Man, when you do a solo show, you just dry out really quick. So, all right. Here's the thing I see all the time in these articles, in a lot of articles. I see a lot of people opine that the way women and sex workers are portrayed in games like Grand Theft Auto is unfortunate. And it's can be sexist, it can be misogynist, it makes some people uncomfortable. They talk about what they find wrong and why they find it problematic. And then we end up kind of yelling past each other with the dismissive, if you don't like it, don't play it. So let's move beyond that to the discussion that I'm more interested in, which is, okay, so how do we improve the representation of sex workers in a Grand Theft Auto game? What could Take-Two / Rockstar have done differently that would make this better? That's the discussion I'm more interested in. And unfortunately, we never get to have that. It's such a damn shame because we keep yelling about the people who we in general, I'm not targeting anyone specific, but too many people end up yelling at the person bringing up what they see as an issue because they don't see it as an issue, instead of, okay, let's talk about this. How else could this be done? What would you recommend? What would you like to see? So let's talk about that. Prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto. One of the things all the time, the systems in Grand Theft Auto work as such. You can kill anybody if they're walking, unless you're like in the middle of a cutscene or something. I think there are some characters that are completely immune, like maybe your family in the house or something. I don't know. But for the most part, any character walking around on the street, you can run them over or shoot them or beat them or whatever. You can also take money off of people that you knock down. Right. That's mechanically how the game works. So, because there are prostitutes in the game, you can kill them and you can take their money. I think that's an important distinction to make that too few people don't. Not that it absolves any criticism. Not that this distinction means that everything is perfectly okay and there's absolutely nothing to discuss or criticize. It doesn't. But I do think it's important to note that nothing in the game does not go out of its way to make you victimize prostitutes. That's your decision. There are no missions that say kill 10 prostitutes, win a gold star. You can get money from prostitutes if you beat them. You can get health from prostitutes by using their services, but you can get money and health in other ways too. I think it's important to clarify that the game does not even really call attention to the fact that that's something you can do. It's more emergent gameplay based on the mechanical systems of the game, how it actually works. It emerges from that. I think that's a very important distinction. That said, sex workers are a marginalized, humiliated, abused class of people in real life, and I can understand why some people would have an issue with depictions of violence against them, especially when it's done in crass or pseudo-humorous manner that Grand Theft Auto tends to present really everything in its world. So what do we want to do? How do we make that better? How do we improve this? Well, the obvious thing is don't put prostitutes in the game. You end up with an interesting discussion. It's like, well, okay, but are you then feeding into the erasure of a class of people? Because you start wondering, are we just now sweeping prostitutes and sex workers under the rug? It's like, oh, don't talk about them. I don't think that's quite the right answer. Um, Now, granted, you don't need prostitutes in every game. You probably don't need them in every Grand Theft Auto game. Would you really miss them if they were gone? I mean, if you took out the hot dog vendors, would you really be wandering around going, there are no hot dog vendors? Why is this? They took out the hot dog vendors. My Grand Theft Auto enjoyment revolves around hot dog vendors. I don't know. I just can't believe in a city that doesn't have prostitutes or hot dog vendors or joggers or bicyclists. There are no taxis in this city. What the hell? You know what actually bothers me about these games? There's no children in them. Isn't that weird? There's this huge city. The last several Grand Theft Auto games take place in these humongous areas, and there are no children anywhere. Isn't that weird? Why is that? It's probably because Rockstar does not want you killing children in the game. Well, why not? You can kill everyone else. Well, killing children is wrong. Well, they're not real. Killing anybody is wrong. So what's wrong with a digital representation of a child? It makes the world more. I mean, if you don't want to kill children, don't kill children. If you don't like killing children, just don't shoot them or run them over or punch them in the face. But as a component of this game system, they are there. What else do you do? Make them invincible? Should we have invincible prostitutes? That would be kind of weird that this one class of character just can't take damage. And you almost end up at the complete opposite end of the spectrum from erasure. You have take them out of the video game entirely, which may lead to some concerns of erasure, or you have put them in there but make them invincible, which is like the exact opposite end of the spectrum. So what do you do? Unfortunately, I am the only one here. So I don't know what we do, but these are the discussions that I find so much more interesting, so much more compelling, so much more fulfilling. I wish that we had more articles discussing this stuff. Instead of people just, sniping back and forth and, oh, if you don't like it, don't play it. Oh, don't tell me what to do. Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you're an asshole. That's so boring. I mean, it's the internet, so you expect that. But so, what else could you do with prostitutes? If I mean, I suppose one thing we could do is maybe try to work off-world. I mean, outside of the game, to somehow alter people's perception of sex workers as a low class kind of a person that doesn't deserve any respect or consideration, the dregs of society. Maybe if we can change that perception, then just having prostitutes in the game along with joggers and hot dog vendors and mimes, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't even be notable. The reason people seem to have a problem with the prostitutes in the game is it's the whole punching down thing, right? It's uncomfortable continuing to beat on a class of people that are already being beat on. So if we can stop beating on them offline, then it becomes more palatable online. Or maybe you can have like GTA 6 and just have a bordello where all the prostitutes are. And it's like you go in there and there's a security team and they automate metal detectors and they take all of your weapons before you can even go in there, and there's guards everywhere. If you take a swing at a single person, a million people, it's like prostitutes would be like the cuckoos in Legend of Zelda. They're all over the place and they're great, and you can hit them with their sword, but they will all gang up and kick your ass until you're dead if you even try it. Maybe something like that. Maybe it allows them to exist in the universe of the game, and it's not quite making them invincible. It just makes them a class of people that you don't want to mess with, like the military in Grand Theft Auto. The military's in Grand Theft Auto. You do not want to mess with them. You get 5, 6 stars, whatever, they will kill you. They will end you. It's kind of fun to run away from them and see how long you can last, but yeah. So I've been ignoring the chat. Let me uh, see what you guys have been doing. Cecil says, "Didn't they don't have animals either?" Well, there's some I know Grand Theft Auto 4 had pigeons that you would shoot and collect. Grand Theft Auto 5 has at least one dog. I don't know if you can do anything with your dog. I don't know if you can shoot your dog. Um, the cops probably can. Um, but I mean, that's not too surprising because what's there going to be, an elephant walking down the street? Although it's not a Rockstar game, it's Activision, a gun for the older generation. Great Western game. It's the pre-Red Dead Redemption. Oh, Red Dead Redemption, another game that has a bunch of animals in it. But the story I was going to tell, and I've told this before, is there are dogs running around the little towns in Gun, and you can shoot them with explosive arrows. And they go, yip, before they explode. And I felt so bad about shooting a little dog with a dynamite arrow. The town was kind of pissed about that, too. Eventually, they form a posse and will try to chase you out of town. You can destroy everyone and make a ghost town. It'll eventually rebuild, but yeah, there are no. I think there are birds, but you know that makes sense that there's no animals, unless there'd be a zoo in the middle of the. That might actually be really interesting for like rampage missions. Just rampage inside a zoo, let all the animals out, and they go tearing down the street. Ah, tigers and elephants. Ah. So, let's see. Viper says zombie children get shot in Telltale's Walking Dead. I guess that's true. There are games with children. Well, let's see. Fable, I think, had children. Am I thinking of Fable? I think Fable's the one that had children that you can't kill or kick, which is so irritating to me because they're creepy. I think one of the Elder Scrolls games actually has children in it too, who are invincible, which is really weird when a dragon comes and razes an entire town to the ground and everyone dies and all the children are just kind of standing there. Well, that blows, says the children. You know, invincible NPCs is just kind of weird, and so it's interesting that you'd like to sit down with Rockstar and say, why are there no kids? And Colin in his article argues something along the lines of they'd probably have kids of their own and were a little uncomfortable with giving you the ability, not the direction, no more than you're given direction to kill prostitutes, to kill kids. That would just make them uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's where other people are coming from with the violence against sex workers. So it's an interesting. These are the kind of conversations I want to have. So let's see. You should do 210s. Don't know what that means. Laxter says prostitutes are only in clubs. You have to check your weapons at the door. Yeah, that's something just something you could do maybe. But I've never played GTA. Can you just punch people to death? Yeah, you can. Can you punch them to death? I think you can kill them by continuing to beat them. I'm pretty sure you can. It might actually. I know you can in some games. It might kind of depend game to game to game. Um, Oh yeah, cartoon conspiracy. Homeless people. Another group that's probably not as, I would say, not as much as sex workers as a class of people, but pardon me, depicting homeless people, violence against homeless people, that can be another touchy issue. Although it's something I've never really seen people get up in arms about. But it's another interesting discussion. But again, you have to wonder. It's like where exactly does violence against? I guess we can always have these conversations. Is like, dude, we're making a game where the whole point is to kill other people for fun. Yee! It's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, I forget who it was. Might have been Sarkeesian or someone who noticed when Doom 4, the trailer aired for the first time at E3 last year. You had a room of 5,000 people going, "Oh, kill the alien, stomp on its head, and watch its brain go squish." And Sheer McIntosh or someone mentioned, it's the game's cool, but it's kind of weird to see a group of 5,000 people just cheering wanton, gory violence. As a fan of wanton, gory violence, at least so far as fictional medium goes, I don't find it that surprising because I love that crap. But but I can also step back and go, yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah, although a lot of human beings do have some kind of ass backwards views on some stuff. I mean, it's kind of like sex work, right? Sex, intercourse, lovemaking, sex, in and of itself, is totally fine, totally legal. Everyone likes sex except maybe a couple weirdos. um, Most of you would be. There are, in the teens of people watching this show right now. If you had sex opportunity right over there, you'd probably shut off the show and stop listening to me, right? Um, so sex is cool. But when there's money involved, then suddenly it's illegal and it's morally bankrupt and it's ethically dubious and it's a shameful thing that we don't talk about. It's the exact same act that everybody knows and loves, but you add money into the equation and suddenly it completely changes. So weird when you think about it, right? And then you think about, okay, well, punching someone in the face until they're unconscious is illegal, right? Not a cool thing. It's called assault. However, if money is exchanging hands, then it's called boxing and it's completely legal. Sex, something that doesn't hurt anybody, unless you're talking about diseases or children, or broken relationships. Sex is something that doesn't hurt anybody, and people actually really seem to like. Punching people in the face hurts, both the face and usually your hand, too. Yet, sex is illegal if there's money involved, and punching someone in the face is illegal unless there's money involved. We humans are weird. So let's see. Laxer says something I said was a good idea. Delirical says I think Saints Row 3 handled it well and funny as a mission. I haven't played Saints Row 3, but that's okay. Let's see. Cecil says dogs can die in GTA 5. Chop always, which is your dog, always comes back though. That's cool. Well, I mean, it's kind of like your character. Your character keeps dying or is wasted, so to speak, but you keep coming back. Video game. Let's see. Just Cause allows you to tie cows to rockets and send them into the sky before exploding. Yeah. Not a very good. Just Cause to me is kind of like Goat Simulator. It's just not a great game, but it is kind of fun to mess around with for a little bit. Cartoon Conspirator talking about the children in Elder Scrolls. It says, "Children fight the dragon. They are the chosen ones." Laxter says, "Who says those options are mutually exclusive? They're probably not. Whatever options you're referring to, that comment was from a while ago." Um, oh, Viper says my voice helps the sexy time. So yes, yes, make love to my dulcet tones. I should release an audio book of me reading uh, Bear in the Big Blue House books, and people can make love to the to listening to me read children's books. That would be awesome. Um, Delirical says maybe sex with money attached becomes a service due to it being seen as a business transaction. Sure, so tax it. That's what California does to me whenever I try to make money. Well, whenever I try to make a certain amount of money. For instance, in California, I'm a freelance writer as a side job, not my main job, and the state of California counts that as owning my own business, which I think is horse poop, but that's the way it goes. Um, Cartoon says, what if you were Batman instead of a criminal? Well, then you and the commissioner are probably on speaking terms, so you let some stuff slide. All right, so let's have more interesting discussions. So the next time you hear some SJW talk about this element of a video game I find problematic for these reasons, I would like to see us, instead of yelling at them for being stupid and not understanding the game or whatever, I would like us to engage in discussion and say, okay, how could this be better? I mean, unless very few SJWs, SJW, very few of them, us, I don't know, am I an SJW? I guess to some people I am. Very few of us, I'll throw my hat in there, are ever saying, this element is problematic and it should be removed, and no one should ever get to play it. No one is. I'm sure there's some dipshits on Twitter saying that, but most people aren't saying that. But rarely do they ever go into. It does happen, but rarely do they ever go into, here's how we could make it better. Here are some other things we could do. Those are the discussions I'd like to have, and that's what I would like to see, and I hope that's where the discussions move in the future. So, okay, last topic. We're past 7, but whatever. Ghostbusters. Sony, please stop marketing the movie. You are terrible. Maybe the movie's just bad and you have nothing to work with. Either way, please stop marketing the movie. You are terrible at it. Oh my God, the marketing is horrid. So, the first trailer came out in March, and while there are elements I enjoyed, and there are tangible details that I really like, not a very good trailer. They, the week after, released an international trailer, which was better. Still not great. Not even good. It's still, you watch it and you're like, unless you're already, here's the thing. Unless you are already a complete mark for Ghostbusters, like me, most people looking at this at either of these trailers would go, if my kids drag me to see it, maybe, but it doesn't make the movie look like something you'd want to see, right? So a week ago, I think, Sony released some character banners for the movie. Viper says we are getting Ecto Cooler back, so that's something. I don't like Ecto Cooler; it's gross. But I'm in the minority on that. So How many Ghostbusters are there? It's 4, right? So far as I know, they released 3 character banners. Okay, so the character banners are Kristen Wiig's character posing with her proton thrower and has a quote from the film. And it's from the trailer. And it says, "That stuff went everywhere. Really hard to, like in every crack. Really hard to wash off." If you didn't know what Ghostbusters was, would you have any idea what the hell she was talking about? You might even get the wrong idea. It's like, is this a porno? What's she talking about? I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you know what she's referring to. She's referring to slime, ectoplasm, but that's a really weird choice, isn't it? Another character has Leslie Jones' character, and the quote is, "The power of Patty compels you." Yeah. Um, yes. A quote, the probably the least liked scene of any of the media we've seen so far, where Patty slaps her one of the characters is possessed and she slaps the ghost out of her, saying, "The power of Patty compels you." I admit I do find the idea of slapping the ghost out of somebody pretty damn funny, but the way, at the very least, the way it's presented in the trailer kind of makes it grating and annoying. The third poster has Kate McKinnon's character and a new quote that we haven't heard before. Ready for this? It says, "Booyah!" Emphasis on the boo. Is that actually a line in the movie? Maybe it is. And maybe Kate McKinnon sells the shit out of that line. I don't know. But man, oh god. So this week, Sony, in celebration of National uh, Administrative Assistance Day, something like that, released a character vignette for Kevin the Secretary, the Chris Hemsworth's character. Now, I'm a Ghostbusters fan, so I can find elements to like in everything I've seen so far. I'll be the first to admit the trailers are not good, but there's still elements, moments, things I like about them. I want to like this movie, so I will go looking for things to like. I saw this trailer for Kevin the Secretary, and I've had red flags, but now I am fearful because this character looks like he could possibly be someone I'm really going to hate. Um, Let me just read the chat here. Okay. Um, why? Well, Kevin the Secretary is an idiot. He's a stupid character. He is a moron. Has no common sense. They hire him, and he's wearing the thick black rimmed glasses. And he scratches his eye, but he puts his finger. He's not wearing lenses in his frames. And they ask him, "So what? Why no lenses?" He says, "Oh, well, they kept getting dirty, so I took them out." Okay, that's quirky. We can swing with that. Then he's sitting at the desk, and they say, and the phone's ringing, and he's just sitting there playing with a rubber band. And Melissa McCarthy says, "Kevin, honey, could you answer the phone?" He goes, "Can't's in the fish tank." And it pans over, and there's a phone in the fish tank. And she says, "Yeah, the one on your desk." He says, "Oh!" And he picks up the phone. He says, "What's this company called again?" And then later he approaches the girls, and this was actually in the international trailer, I think. He says, "We have to form a team and build weapons to fight these damn ghosts." And when the international trailer, I keyed on that line, and I was like, Is he the impetus for them? Didn't they already do that? That doesn't make any sense. The rest of the scene has Melissa McCarthy looking at him going, that is exactly what we already do here. Okay, so that explains that. But now we're getting into the point where it's like, okay, this guy is impossibly stupid. Then another scene shows him apparently, it's a quick cut, so who knows what the context here is, but apparently trying to reach into the fish tank through the glass to grab the phone and stubbing his fingers on the glass and going, ow. Okay, so now we have a character who is impossibly stupid to the point, not which I find annoying in and of itself, but the fact that they'd keep him around, that anyone would give him the time of day, makes me hate everyone else. You know, Cowboy Bebop. Faye Valentine is not an idiot. Let me be clear about that. But she is a horrible backstabbing person. I have no earthly clue why Spike or anyone else ever gives Faye the time of day, because she betrays them every single time. I don't like Faye because she's a horrible person. I don't like anyone else because they're all stupid for bothering with her. I drives me nuts. There's a lot I do like about Cowboy Bebop though. So I rarely ever like impossibly stupid characters because I can't stand the character, and by extension, I can't stand the people around them because I don't understand why they would ever put up with this person. Like Screech in Saved by the Bell. One, he's impossibly stupid, even by the heightened reality of that world. And two, none of these kids would ever hang out with this guy because he ruins everything. I didn't like Saved by the Bell. Having said that, Paul Feig, the director of Ghostbusters, his last movie was Spy. I rather enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. Jason Statham's character, Harvey, whatever the character's name is impossibly stupid and hopelessly incompetent to the point where you wonder, how the hell does he even have a job? Why would anyone hire him? Why would anyone keep him around? And yet, I thought he was hilarious. So, maybe in the context of the movie, Kevin the Secretary works gangbusters and is really, really damn funny. Don't know. I am kind of nervous, though, because I watched that promotional video. I was like, oh, golly. Golly. I don't want to not like Ghostbusters. um, you wonder. We know that possession is a thing. So, is the big ghost Rowan or whatever his name is he possessing Kevin like from the start and infiltrating the Ghostbusters and just messing with them? Just seeing how far he can push this, just for fun because he's a jerk. Maybe that's an angle that might work. We'll see in July. I'll definitely be seeing the movie. So, yeah. In conclusion, Sony, please stop trying to market Ghostbusters. Please stop. Just let the movie come out. Don't market it anymore. Or you're already working with Marvel because you can't make Spider-Man movies. So Marvel is doing it for you. Use that. Get Marvel's marketing department on the case here. Let Marvel cut a good trailer for Ghostbusters. If such a thing is even possible. Maybe it's not. But holy Bisc. That's another thing. It's something I've mentioned before. Is Spy, another Sony film, had trailers that made the movie look absolutely terrible and unfunny and nothing I wanted to see. So maybe the same thing is happening with Ghostbusters. I hope so because I'm a Ghostbusters fanboy. So fanboys unite. Oh, by the way, I guess I just because I'm a dork, I thought my how much I made on YouTube this month was really funny. $13.37. Leet. So okay, that is the show for this week. Echo. I'm gonna plug my stuff and leave. So if you have any final questions, ask them now or forever hold your peace. And let me double check YouTube real quick. Okay, no one's. All right, didn't miss anybody. So, Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube. You can find all my silly YouTube videos. Pardon me. What do I have coming up? Well, tomorrow is a Nintendo Humble Bundle worth buying. Not for me because everything I want I already have. Tomorrow, May 1st, starts National Masturbation Month. I know how I'm going to celebrate it. Do you? I'm going to celebrate it by making silly YouTube videos. So you should see the first one. I'm going to record that actually right after the show here. Probably will be up tomorrow. I think there will be 4 videos in total. So 1 video per week celebrating National Masturbation Month, which is actually a thing. So look forward to that. Also, plug my stuff here. Let me look at my recent videos here. Had a video game fashion police looking at Link from Twilight Princess, so kindly check that out. Yeah, I'm proud of that one, and not enough people are watching it. It's 10 minutes long. It's a bit of a time investment, but you know. You can follow me on YouTube at Andrew Eisen. I have no idea why you'd want to do that, but well, actually, I do because I use it as a platform to tell really short, stupid jokes. Viper asks, "So, what are you going to be playing on Wii U until the NX comes out?" Well, probably Fire Emblem. Or I'm sorry, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Still need to get Yoshi's Woolly World. Probably Paper Mario. And, well, Zelda Wii U isn't coming out till 2017. At least March 2017. So, probably pick up Shantae Half Genie Hero. Whenever that comes out. That's probably about it. But my sister bought me a PlayStation 3 for Christmas a year ago, so I'm playing through Yakuza 3 right now, which will be followed by 4 and 5. And I have a whole list of PlayStation 3 games that I want to go through. So plenty of things to keep myself busy with until the NX comes out. 13UQ asked, does wearing the headset make it easier or harder when you hear yourself? My voice doesn't come through the earphones, so it just maybe makes my ears sweat. I don't know. Viper says Shantae is going to be good. Been doing the alpha beta. Okay, yeah, I played Pirate's Curse, I think. Yeah, Pirate's Curse. Risky's Revenge comes out pretty soon. I'll probably pick that up too. 13U Cube asks me, will I be getting an NX regardless, or does it depend on if it's worth it? I am a raging Nintendo fanboy, so it's almost a certainty. The odds are in your favor if you want to bet on it. It's a pretty good bet that I will buy an NX, but it does depend on what the NX actually ends up being. If the NX is a handheld, probably not. Not a big handheld gamer. Um, unless it just has software that I absolutely can't live without. And I am actually glad I have a handheld because there are some handheld games that I really do like. For example, I love the Phoenix Wright games. I love the Professor Layton games. I love the series of games. The newest one is Zero Time Dilemma. So the ones before that, Zero Escape something, and 9999 hours, doors, 9 persons. Love those games. So there are a handful of handheld games that I really do like. 13U Cube, chances they will try VR again. If the NX is Nintendo's VR platform, so if the NX ends up being a Vive or Oculus Rift or something like that, maybe. Not opposed to it, but that's doesn't strike me as how I would have to demo it first. I think I don't think I would. If it was a VR console, I would not buy it sight unseen. I would have to demo it first to see if that's how I want to play games. For example, if Nintendo released the NX was just their own mobile phone, like a just an iPhone or a tablet or something, I probably wouldn't care. There's very little Nintendo. Does it have Mario, Zelda, Metroid? I'll probably get it. Nintendo would have to try really hard to get me to not buy its console. So yeah, buying an NX is probably a foregone conclusion for me. But it does it is within the realm of possibility that Nintendo may just come out with something that I'm completely uninterested in. And it better be region free, whatever it is, Nintendo. 13, it better flipping have Metroid. Yeah, that would be nice. I think the Wii U is the only console that didn't have a Metroid game. Um, I mean, yeah, Super Metroid and stuff on the Virtual Console, but no original game. And from what I hear, one of my other predictions may be coming true, and that Retro is not working on Donkey Kong or Metroid, but an original IP, which doesn't mean no one else is working on Donkey Kong or Metroid, but I'm actually really excited to see Retro finally tackle its own original IP because I think it could do something really special. Kind of like when Platinum Games does its own thing. Did N64 have Metroid? No, N64 did not have Metroid. So it's the first console in a while to not have Metroid. Sorry. Technically, I guess the 3DS doesn't have a dedicated Metroid game either. Let me think about that. Um, well, does anyone actually count the Metroid game in Nintendo Land? I don't, but maybe someone does. Um, oh, that's a good question, Viper. Will we be seeing an E3 predictions from me again this year? I've been pretty accurate. I usually give. Laxer says you forgot Federation Force. Well, one that's not out yet, and I guess that counts as a Metroid game. It at least has the Metroid branding, uh, but hmm. I mean, that's kind of like, do you consider Star Fox Adventures a Star Fox game? Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, at least that one actually has the has Fox McCloud in it. Um, so it's more than just branding Dinosaur Planet with Star Fox. Um, but yeah, so Federation Force, I guess, would be a dedicated Metroid game for the 3DS. That's making a lot of people unhappy. Um, let's see. So Twitter, yeah, at Andrew Eisen. Facebook is Andrew Eisen. YouTube, and that's it. 13U Cube. Does Mario Kart count as a Mario game? I'd say Mario Kart counts as a Mario Kart game. Kind of like you might lump them in with Mario Sports, like Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Kart. But anyway, 13U Cube, thanks for doing the show and reading all our comments. Yeah, I did miss a bunch of comments, especially when I got kind of ranty. A little difficult to hold a comment to read comments while trying to get all my thoughts across, all my various scattered silly thoughts and opinions. So okay, I am going to make a masturbation month celebration video, so you all have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you next week. Take care all. Bye.